Hi, my name's Kate Roberts and I am a social worker as part of the SWIS team in Brentside High School.
Hiya, I'm Olivia Begley. I'm a social worker at Villiers High School.
Hi, I'm Steffi Anstey and I'm a social worker at Ellen Wilkinson School for Girls.
I'm relatively new to the SWIS team. I've been in the team for about a month and a half, and I guess the first thing that I've noticed, I come from a background of 8 years in assessment and child protection teams, and immediately I think going into the role in the school is the connection you get with the students, the wealth of information that the DSLs and teachers have that they can share with you, the comfortableness that the parents have when you contact them. I think it's a lot less terrifying when you get a call from someone within the school rather than from within the council, and that immediately starts to build positive relationships between us and the families involved.
Yeah, I've been in SWIS now since August 2021, and I think I think from a social work point of view, really seeing like how much schools hold as well in terms of like mental health and all those kind of things, and I think it really has strengthened like my appreciation for how much schools do as well. It really helps us understand like when you're in the school with the kids, like you know the kids and you know like when they're having a good day, bad day, and it gives them that safe space, which I really value in the role.
Yeah. I've been in the SWIS role for about 7-8 weeks now, and coming from a LAC background and sort of working with schools from that background of going in for PEPs and working with teachers on plans to sort of reintegrate students into school. It's really interesting being based in the school this time around because I get to see it from the other perspective of having that relationship with the teachers and working with the students on a day-to-day basis rather than just seeing them outside of it. And I do agree with the points of there's a lot of comfortableness where you're able to build better relationships because you're within a community rather than being seen as the social worker. People open up a bit more, and I am seeing that it's helping the kids talk to you a little bit more. They're more open, whereas when you're the social worker, they're a bit more wary of you. Well, when I was in the LAC team, they were a little bit more wary of me based on how I guess their parents or guardians communicated with me. And like Kate said, when you're now calling parents and explaining that you're based in a school and you're trying to support them and figure out what else you can offer along with them and the school to support whatever issues are going on, they're like, oh. And so they're really more open, and I really appreciate that side of social work now.
And I think in terms of like when there's in times of crisis, knowing that where we are and how accessible we are, and actually you're going to have the same face, and it's like so actually families feel comfortable, and now like families can call you up and say I've got a question, and it's really nice. And I also think no day in SWIS is kind of the same. Like some days you could be having, we don't ever want to use the word quiet in social work, but we think quiet day, and then something can happen. But I think it also, when there is that crisis point where we're there, we can kind of be on hand to assess it, where sometimes like before it can take a few hours for a social worker to come out to the school. We might not have all the information, but actually being based in the school, we have the context of the school. We're able to get a bit more information about what's going on, so we're able to make quicker and more informed decisions at the time.
You can link up different students and see what's going on, if there's areas of exploitation or if there seems to be youth violence going on for whatever reason. You can make connections between different year groups, and the idea is to do preventative work to try to stop that happening so things don't escalate and become statutory later on. And actually I'm also finding that linking, because we work together but we're based in different schools, we're communicating with each other. Say there's been something, a particular incident, and we're told that this student attends a different school, I can contact a social worker from that other school and get information really quickly about concerns there, and we can start working together to try to build a bigger picture and understanding of the whole situation that's going on for not just that child, the family, the community, and all the factors influencing our decisions about what we need to be doing to make positive changes.
I think joined up working as well. You know, like when a teacher ahead of you really know your kids, and actually they can come and say, I think, you know, so and so is slightly off today, what can we do about it? You know, what, like sort of something's happened. And I think we're helping, I think, teachers as well become a bit more curious, having the confidence to ask who, what, when, where, how, why.
And not just with the teachers, but also with the students. I think when I go in and I get signposted as a student to come in to talk to me, I'm like, what do you know about social workers? That's the first question I ask. And they're like, you take kids away. And I'm like, great. That's why I asked you. I feel like being there, I'm able to educate a bit more and help them understand that we're not to be feared. Like all this fear mongering that they've seen in the news about what we do, we're actually able to explain our role, that we're literally there to help. That was the whole foundation and basis of social work. And I think explaining our role in the school and help them seeing that we're working with the teachers that they see on a daily basis and have built relationships with over the last couple of years, or they'll be building relationships for the next 5 years of their life, really helps them understand that, oh, actually, you're someone I can trust, and that you're someone that I can come and just ask a question even. And another thing, I had a student, she was, feeling overwhelmed, and kind of like, when you said you felt overwhelmed, she was feeling really overwhelmed. She thought she wanted to go into care. She was like, I want to go into care. Life is so awful at home. And not to take away from the fact that some stories are like that, but I was able to sit her down and just calm her and ask her, what do you think care is like? And just having those discussions and being able to sort of understand where they're coming from, so that then they go away and share that knowledge with other students. I'm really liking that part. It's like we can actually get in at the point where it doesn't need to escalate.
I found as well, like, part of our role, especially in the preventive way, is kind of advocacy in terms of advocating for parents, for students, also for school as well. And we can also kind of bridge that gap sometimes when maybe parents aren't really understanding school's point of view or vice versa. We actually can kind of help mediate a little bit, which I find really valuable.
When we talk together, hearing about how different everyone's role is, because everyone is adapting to what the school needs, so we can be creative about what's going to be most effective for that particular school, because all the schools are slightly different in their own way. So the more we're involved in the school, the more we understand the needs of the school, whether that's training the teachers, whether that's providing specific pieces of work in regards to whatever the issue is within the school, then we can adapt our practice to help that. And overall, the whole target is about safeguarding children together, and that's our overall goal, really.
I think on that basis, in terms of our caseloads, there is a good balance, I think, from our team, especially after our training yesterday. We have about 8 or 10 statutory cases that we hold, and then day to day in the school, our manager has made it so that we have about 8 students that we're working with as well, and then we can have a waiting list. And there's about 6 weeks of preventative work that you do with that young person. That's like targeted work. So one thing I'm doing at the moment is relationship work with one student, and I'm also doing like a session where I'm trying to figure out the protective factors and the strengths and the wider network of a child, because there's some stuff going on that doesn't meet thresholds but is concerning. So helping her understand who she can go to when she needs help, and helping her understand what's great at home, but also figure out what she can do when things aren't so great, who to call on. So I think having that very clear structure helps us with the creativeness, because we don't feel as stretched, and we can be based in the school when we need to be and build those relationships.
The things that we can cover with preventative, like I've got a family where a mum is struggling with like a degenerative disease, and actually threshold wouldn't be met right now for intervention, but actually we can look at supporting mum with immigration, occupational therapy, young carers, and it just kind of brings things together where actually if this was to be left alone, it would snowball and potentially escalate into needing professional services, which can be really intrusive for families. But I think in cases such as that, it's lovely to get that work done and see, like the real shift in where they were, where families were, and then even in 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks, you see that they're in a better place.